Whatever business you have, if it involves giving some advice or potentially could involve giving some advice, then you have to watch this video. Because this video is just about how to build an automated chatbot very easily that will give that advice that you can brand with your business and that you can include on ChatGPT's marketplace. Hi, I'm Jason. I'm a 45-year-old dad of two, aiming to build an app a week in public. This week, I'm building something called a Custom GPT. Let's take a look at this. So we'll just move me out the way a little bit. And here we go. This is ChatGPT. You'll be familiar with this screen, of course. Hopefully, well, you may have seen something that says GPTs. Now, GPTs, effectively custom GPTs, and we'll see how you can build that in a minute. I'm really only going to scratch the surface. Some of these are so powerful and absolutely you worth having a play and seeing if there's something there that will meet your needs whenever you're trying to do a task. But you can also create your own. So I've got my GPTs. You can actually create a GPT. There's two ways to create a GPT. There's actually this really easy way of creating a GPT. As in non-technical, completely non-technical. You can just go and you can have a little chat with ChatGPT. And it's literally saying here, what would you like to make? You might say, I want to make a GPT that impersonates Luke Skywalker. I'll see what it thinks of that. It may not like the word impersonate, but and then it will start to do that for you and start to try to configure that for you. And it will ask you questions. So look, it's actually done this. It's created some example questions here for users to ask, but it's also saying, what do you want to call it? It's suggesting Luke Skywalker GPT, but you can come up with other things. And you can just chat with ChatGPT and build it for you. Another way is to go to configure. And this would normally start blank, but as you can see, ChatGPT has done it for you here. But as well, you can combine the two. So you could do the easy approach to create, and you can just go and tweak it and see, does what's in configure cover what you want? It's pretty interesting to do that. Pretty good fun. I mean, it says, for example, it avoids modern pop culture references outside of the Star Wars universe. All of that stuff. I mean, you can change that. You can absolutely change that, put what you want, and you could create that. I'm just having fun. I don't know. I've never tried playing with Luke Skywalker, so I don't know how well this will work. But I'm more interested in the business potential of this. And actually, when I saw this, I thought, I want to do an app a week on this. How do I do it? And that's what I'm going to talk you through. I'm going to talk you through from ideation right to the final app. So let's take a look. So the first thing was, I knew I wanted an app a week. I didn't want to do something like silly like Luke Skywalker. I mean, you could see you could do that in 30 seconds. What's the point of that? So I went to ChatGPT and I said, okay, I just gave it some info for my app a week. And this is a really short prompt, really kind of rubbish prompt. But I kind of cured the rubbishness of the prompt by saying, ask any questions you need to. And that's always a good way, by the way, of upping your prompt game. Because it will then ask you the questions and work out and customize a bit more the prompt for you. So it did that. It actually gave some ideas already, but then it asked the questions as well. So I answered, and it came up with some ideas. And to be honest with you, I didn't really like the ideas. They didn't really work for me. They're a bit too much like automation. They didn't really feel like custom GPTs. I didn't really get it. So I said that, and this is always the key when you're coming up with this process and using ChatGPT for ideation. It's never gonna, it's probably not gonna just with a short prompt give you the ideas at the first go. You need some back and forth, some question and answering, some no, that's not what I want. This is what I want, and that's where you can then get to what you really like. And this did. It came up with some good ideas here. You got the polisher, by the way, if any of you want to have a go at that. Follow up whisperer, Storytime generator, that's quite an interesting one. I think there's some things out there that do that, some paid apps that will do that, so you could probably use ChatGPT to do it. And this is the one I liked actually, is this micro consultant GPT. I thought, this is what I'm looking for. I thought this could be quite good for business. Any business could do this. It's kind of gone for the business use case here, but you could do anything, whatever your business is. You could almost just have a micro consultant GPT. Maybe if you're regulated, you might struggle a bit more if you're heavily regulated, but most businesses, I think, could do something here as a little sort of lead magnet or way in. Okay, you've also got build a prompt GPT. Interesting ideas here. Okay, and so I said, okay, let's spec out the micro consultant for me. So we're still kind of in the ideation stage. Let's see what it looks like. And it came up with some good, I think I like this. I think people could use this probably something out there already, but this is something someone could use. And I think something, I'm going to build a generic one, but I think something if someone, a lot of people could build specific ones for their business and use their knowledge and add it to this process that I'm going to show you. In fact, what I'm going to show you is you don't need any knowledge to build one. But of course, if you do have knowledge that you can add to it, it's probably quite valuable. And it's even come up with like the system prompt. It's come up with some guides. Fantastic. So I took this. It wasn't enough for me. So I took this and I went to do the deep research. So deep research is excellent for if you don't know the topic, or even if you do, and there might be things about the topic that you don't know. Deep research will really help you because it will find out all the information you need. So I explained what I was trying to do. I copied some of the stuff from ideation, to be honest with you, about what I was looking for, and then I asked for it to do the research, the best practices for business coaches and business consultants and sorts of questions and all of that, and basically everything I need to create a prompt. Of course, asked me some questions, answered, great. So we then went through this. Because I was using deep research, by the way, I didn't need to specifically say ask me questions. It will do that automatically. And you need to choose tools, run deep research when you do it for it to do that. It came up with a lot of stuff. And if you are doing this, by the way, it's worth reading through all of the stuff it comes up with. It comes up with gold a lot of the time. This one is not that. Oh, it's got some references. You could ask for more references, but okay. And so then what it gave me the research that I could use for a prompt, but it wasn't the prompt itself. So I said, okay, right, we'll take the above research and prepare a draft custom GPT prompt. So here we go. So it created the prompt for me. A sort of a system prompt. A system prompt is exactly this, what is going to go into the GPT and makes it a custom GPT. Now I took that system prompt, I did edit it a little bit. Where are we now? I edited it slightly. Let me go to the GPT. It's lost it. Here we go. And I changed it a bit around, but I kept most of it, to be honest with you. But I did just change it to suit what I wanted. And it did that. I came up with a name, or I came up with a name, I can't remember, and there was a description. Even for the picture, you can just use ChatGPT to generate the picture for you, or use DALL-E. So we got the ideation and we got the deep research, and now we're sort of building a GPT here, and it's done a lot of the work for us. But you do, and I always say this: you need to own this. If you're doing this, you need to make sure you've really carefully read through the prompt. The way I did it was actually fairly lazy, almost, but I still read through the prompt to make sure I owned it and I was happy with it. One thing I realized, by the way, when I was doing all of this, is this came up with quite a generic prompt for business, and I think the real value in this will be to niche down, and to really, if you have a business that's focused on something, this is sort of works. It's jack of all trades, master of none sort of approach. And I think you could get some more value by having different niches, even if you had, say, 5 or 6 of them, if you wanted to build them out. But the more you niche down in here, probably the better it's going to work. This is pretty decent, though. But I just think that would be my advice if you were to sort of take this and want to do something a bit different. Okay, you can see it's got a lot of things in here. It's got a lot of the stuff. Now, one interesting thing I wanted to add to this that I think was potentially that turns it into more than just a GPT is an action. Now, actions are really interesting because they when you get into almost this agentic behavior and you have like sort of AI agents and it can actually go and do things, totally incredible. Now, they're a little bit tricky to configure and it depends what you want to do. In this case, I wanted to configure at least one action. So the action I configured is that it will let you go to the Google APIs effectively and set up in people's calendars it will set up in people's calendars reminders. So you've come up with a business plan for someone, which is what this coach will do, come up with that business plan, and then it will set them up into someone's calendar. Now, you might say, well, this all looks really, really complicated, and you don't know how to write it. I mean, I don't know either how to write that stuff. So there is actually an Actions GPT. So if you go to the the GPT library, you can find an Actions GPT, and you can just explain what it is you're trying to do, and it will do it for you. And by the way, you won't see it here, but another time I wanted to do something with the ChatGPT Actions, and it explained to me really clearly I couldn't do it. So I found this really helpful, because if you can't do something, there's no point fiddling around for ages trying to do it. Explain clearly, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. In this case, yes, you can do it, and it kind of explained it to me. I think it didn't quite work the first time, and so then it kind of fixed that. So that's really, really powerful. And in the end, just talking to this, it did it for me, which is absolutely brilliant. So most of the work I had to do was copy, and the bits I didn't understand, I think I was asking. So right, yeah. So I was trying to explain. I didn't quite understand something it was doing here, so I just asked it. So really, you can build an action. I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail on the sort of technical things of building an action, but you can do that, and you can do that using using the Actions Custom GPT to explain to you how to do it. One other thing you will need to do is you will need to go to Google Cloud Console and set up OAuth and set up a project with OAuth, and enable this. If you don't know how to do that, again, probably if not the Actions GPT, the normal GPT will be able to help you do that. It's something I've done before. It's not really what this video is about. Look, if you do want me to go into more detail on how I created this action, I can show from scratch how to create an action. Just comment in this video if that's of interest. I wanted to keep this video a bit more about the custom GPT. Okay, so enough about the action. I set all that up, and in theory it works. A couple of other things to think about. Recommended model. So I'm actually going to say use GPT 4.1. I hadn't set that there. That's the latest model, so may as well do that. Capabilities, web search, and Canvas. Web search is always good to have, really. Canvas is about letting you edit it. It probably doesn't need Canvas, but there's no harm in having that there. Obviously, you want to have your conversation starters. They appear here, so it just gives people an idea what to ask. In the description, you'll see I put a link to my website, so you can just promote yourself. You could put an email address as well. I think an email address might be even better if you're sort of looking to promote a business. You could put like a sales email address or whatever. And one thing I haven't done here, but you could, if you are looking, again, as I say, to promote a business, is you could edit this prompt a bit and tell it, well, make clear to the user the limitations of this approach, and that you can get a more in-depth review by going to a professional business and suggest your business. So you could actually sort of embed into this prompt almost a little bit of selling for your business. I wouldn't go too far on that, but you could add some value that way. So I think just this on its own is incredibly valuable. And as I say, I've also added this little feature just because I wanted to make it a bit more app feel, where it will add reminders to people's Google's calendar, which I think is just incredibly powerful. So if you like this sort of thing, well, absolutely, please like the video and subscribe to this channel. It will let me know that this content's liked. If you'd like to see me dig in a bit more deeper to a specific part, maybe particularly like the actions bit, which I kind of glossed over, let me know. I'm happy to. Happy to also try and build some other custom GPTs. I think I'm going to include some more of these in my app a week. Just to sort of note some final comments, really. If you want to create it, I will create it, but I want to sort of test it a bit more first. Just click create and it'll publish it, and you can choose who it's visible to. If it's just you, if you want to share it with a link, if you want it to be visible to everyone, and then it's on that marketplace and people potentially could go and just find it themselves. Now, I will do another demo video. Another video where I demo the app. I'm not going to do it here. I don't want to have too long a video here, and I think it's a slightly different thing. So we'll sort of maybe go through it together, and I'll take through a business together, and you'll see how powerful it really is. But for now, let me know what you think. Let me know if I've inspired you to have a go at this yourself, and if there's any parts I should cover in more detail.